Alright, what's up? I am going to be showing you how to make something similar to this today. However, I'm not going to go into the nav bar or specific fonts or anything. What I'm going to do is show you how to make a full screen video background that scales well, like this. And if we want to inspect it and look at the mobile view of it, we can go to like a Galaxy S5 and everything scales and everything works. So this is a site that I'm currently working on for a client. So what you will learn is how to make this video full screen, scale well, and continue playing and looping. Also, I'll probably end up showing you how to compress a video file, but I will not go into more depth on multiple video formats that you should be using. I may just reference it when we get there. So yeah, let's get started. This was the code for that website. Now I'm going to open, let's see, so YouTube, I'm going to make a new folder and I'll say full screen. So I recommend, I'm sure you probably already have a folder with some files you've been messing with, but it's probably best to start and follow along and make a blank document. That way you can learn the concepts of why this works and then implement it into your own design. So full screen, and okay, let's see, where's that at? I may have to, oh yeah, YouTube full screen. Okay, so let's open this. I'm using VS Code as my editor, text editor IDE. So now I'm going to make two files. First file, you can name it whatever, but make sure it's an HTML file. So I'll say index.html, and using Emmet, I'm just going to make a quick boilerplate. So if you're not familiar with why I just did that, or what's on the screen right now, then you should probably look at learning HTML before you go on. These are just our meta tags, title, then I'm going to make an area for our external CSS down here, and I'm just going to go ahead and call or reference that now. So link relative equals text CSS href, and we're going to call ours just style.css. Then type is text CSS, and I made a mistake here. This is just style sheet. Okay, so now we're referencing our external CSS here that we'll be making maybe two classes in. Then, okay, so this is the head. So within the body now, I'm just going to give myself some room to work. I'm going to make a div with the class name video div. Okay, and then close it. And then I'm going to add in our video here. So I'm going to do video autoplay equals autoplay. I'm going to make it muted because if you haven't seen, at least in Chrome right now, videos that aren't muted and have an audio track are not autoplaying, I believe. So if you include muted, and ideally your video shouldn't have any audio anyways, because a lot of times that's bothersome to people depending on how they're viewing. Okay, so autoplay muted. We'll set our loop equal to true. That way the video continues looping. So I recommend finding either a stock video that doesn't have copyright, or if a client wants to provide you with a video that works well, then go ahead and do that. Ideally the video should be 30 seconds or less. That way it's not too much for a user to download or view. And we're going to go with an ID of video background. Not that that really matters for this video, but That's okay. Now, this is where we're going to put our source files. So basically, you're going to put, let's say, an MP4 file. That'll be your main one here. But also, ideally, you would include a WebM formatted file that's more compressed and better for viewing mobile, and etc. So any other formats that you'd want to include there. And then those will be your backups if you can't use MP4, or if the user can't use MP4. So we'll set our source src equal to our video name. So we're just going to call our video small example.mp4, and we're going to set our type equal to video MP4. Easy, okay. And that's it for our video. Ideally, like I said, you would add in other formats here, but for the sake of this video, we don't need to. So within this div class here, we're going to add in another div. We'll say div ID equals video message. Now you could get a full screen video background working like I showed you with no navbar or anything on the overlay without including a div like this or some other container. But for this example, I'll just quickly show you how to do this. So let's just say I wanted to include some h1 tags, and let's just say hello. Now, this is just for the sake of showing you how you would go about doing an overlay, because most websites aren't going to just have a plain video on the landing page if you are using a video for a website. And I think, okay, yeah, we closed them. Sweet, that should be all of the HTML we need for this example. Now I think I called that style.css, so I'm going to go ahead and save that and make sure, yes it is. And I'm just going to do HTML body, and I'm just going to do height 100%. Now for the video stuff, we will go and we're going to edit our video CSS. So now we're going to do position absolute. That way we can use a z-index to overlay our video. We're going to set top 50%, left 50%, and then we're going to do WebKit transform, and we're going to do translate. Translate can take two parameters or two arguments, the delta x and delta y. So we're going to go ahead and give it minus 50% delta x, minus 50% delta y. Then we're going to go, and you'll see it says CSS also define the standard property transform for compatibility. That's CSS3. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're just going to do transform, and the same thing down here, minus 50% and minus 50%. Now this is just some CSS wizardry to make sure that the video fills the page, that there's no margins on the side. There are likely other ways to do this, but this is just the way that I've been using it. So if you have a different understanding of this, then go ahead and share that. Now we're going to add in, we're going to make the video 100% wide and tall, doing min width 100%, if I can type that, min height 100%, and max width 100%, and you guessed it, max height 100%. Now also quickly note here, scale mobile. So now this will work fine on desktop browsing, but if you're viewing at a smaller resolution in different aspect ratio and whatever, you're going to want to use object fit cover. Now probably, if I remember, I'll come back and show you why you want to use it, but that should be it for video CSS. Now, if you remember, I named the class video div. We're going to go ahead and add that CSS now. So we're going to set the top 0, bottom 0. Again, width to be 100%. Height to be 100%. And we're going to set overflow hidden. That way, when, let's say, you're on mobile and the video is trying to cover the page, what will happen is the video will be slightly zoomed in and centered, but if you think about it, the video will still be off page, but you can't see it. So in order to prevent the browser from presenting it with like a horizontal scroll bar or something like that, I believe that's why you use hidden. That way the overflow of the video is hidden from view. Now that should be it for our video div. And one last thing is our video message. So now what we need to do is set our Z index here to be 0. And we're going to give it position absolute. As I explained earlier, I believe, you need a fixed absolute, etc. position in order for the Z index to be applied, as far as I understand it. So that's why we give the video position absolute up here as well. And, oh, did I not include the Z index here? Okay. We need to include our Z index up here. And we're just going to give it -1. Because if you understand the Z-axis on maybe a 3-dimensional graph, then basically we're setting the video to be the background. So let's say 0, 0, 0, X, Y, and Z are all 0. That's the very center of the graph. But let's say we give Z a -1 index. We're moving it back 1, but it's still centered horizontally and vertically on the x-axis horizontally. So by setting it -1 and then setting video message to 0, we're basically saying, okay, we want the video to be behind our message. So you'll see what that helps with. So now I'm going to open Chrome. Oh, this was another example I pulled up of a video background that you could be doing. This was my earlier example. Okay, so we're going to go into our Finder, YouTube, random. Oh wait, no, full screen. Actually, I need to grab the video, so I'm gonna copy this, which is the video I wanted to use, paste it, and I gotta make sure I'm referencing the video right. Small example.mp4 is what I named it. So we're just gonna go ahead and rename this video small example.mp4, and we're gonna go ahead and open it. Sweet, see? So because we gave it a Z index of -1, the video, it's sitting behind our H1 tag right here, hello. And if we want to scale the browser, you'll see it's just lagging because I'm recording, but you'll see that the video is scaling well. Now notice that if we wanted to maintain the aspect ratio but not overflow, we would have lost or added some margins around the video, particularly up and down. On like this example, this would be white space down here, because we're actually, while the video is full screen still, you're not seeing the entire video. It's over here and over here, right? Now, to further explain what I was talking about earlier with the CSS object fit, right? I'll just comment that out real quick. This is an example, so you don't need to do that. I refresh. Okay, so on desktop it doesn't look fine either, but let's say that my screen resolution was something more like this. Okay, still looks like it was normal. Now, as you go down, you see we're maintaining the aspect ratio. So let's say this is a 16:9 video, or 4:3, whatever. The video is still max width, right? But in order to maintain that aspect ratio without overflowing, we're having to add in some white space here. So by adding in that little section here, cover, we get this. Now, notice when I inspect here using some tools in Chrome, and I look at the network and I reload the page, I forget what is the I don't know why I was expecting to see the video being loaded here, but it's not showing up in here. But whatever, that's not all that important. Basically, I was going to show you that the video would load here, and based on the size of the video, you could be adding a significant load time to the user. So to help prevent that, we can use something called Handbrake, which some of you may be familiar with. And it's going to prompt us to open a video file. So let's say I go to my desktop, and I open the original. This actually isn't the original, but let's say I open this nature video, right? Some nice HD stock footage. What I can do is set it to web optimized, keep it as MP4. I can determine what I want to do. So basically, this is how quickly I want to render the new video, I think. So if you have a slower computer, go with very fast. It may not provide lossless compression, but it'll still be nice looking. So for this example, I'm just going to go with fast 720p because I'm not actually going to use this video. And then you can set some options in here. If you have an audio track, make sure to do none because you should be muting it, and the audio will just add file size. Constant quality. If you move this to the left, you're getting less quality, but you're saving on size, which is important to consider. So I think I've got everything set. I'll just name this break test1.mp4, and I'm going to send it to Fullscreen, the folder that our documents are in, and I'm going to hit start. Now, because this is only, I think, 16 seconds long, it shouldn't take too long to process and spit out, so I'm not going to really pause the video, but this is Handbrake, and if you're a web developer, it's definitely useful, especially for video compression. So you can see down here, it's almost done. And we get a notification up here, click on it, and it takes us to the video. So let's see if I can just show you what the difference is. So this was our compressed video, and our compressed video is 5.9 megabytes. Now, if I were to show you the original video that we compressed from, I think it was this one, it is 44 megabytes. So you can see the huge difference that this has, especially considering the small file sizes of these documents right now. Even on production websites, it'll be a huge saver. So that should be everything. I can cover this more in depth another time, but this should present you with all the concepts that you need. Now note that the video message is nested within the video div class, video div class, and not outside of it, and also that the video is outside of the video message, but within the video div class. So some important things to remember, but that should be everything. So if you have any questions, leave me a comment or email me at me@damien.us. I'll put some information in the description, but thanks for watching. See you.